Okay, we've done a lot. We got the database hooked up, and we built our little API call. We called it using React. We listed out the projects. We've added in pagination. We added filtering. We've added a cart that persists as long as the app is open. And so we've done a lot so far. And what we want to do in this set of videos is to focus on the CRUD functionality, getting information into the database and out of the database. And so we'll work on that. But before we do, let's open up our project and we'll create a new branch for this. So I'll open up Visual Studio Code, open the folder, in my case on the desktop. And again, we're grabbing that main folder. And then in that folder, we're going to open the terminal, and we will just do a git branch, and we want to name it phase. In our case, this will be phase 5. So I'm going to git branch phase 5, and then I want to, and then again, I can look and see if I do a git branch to see which branches there are. Well, I'm currently in phase 4, so to switch, I say git checkout phase 5. And now if I say git branch, I can see that I'm in phase 5, which is where I want to be. All right, so again, what I want to do in this case is work on CRUD functionality, but what I'm thinking is, let's build an admin page that lists out all the projects and gives us the ability to add new projects, delete projects, edit projects, and so this will eventually be an admin page that only admins can access. And so let's work on that. So the thing that I'm thinking, though, kind of in advance of this, is as I create this page for the listing all the projects, aren't I already getting that data, right? I'm getting it with the API call that we're making to our project list page. So we're making a call here to get this data. In the new admin page that I'm creating, am I going to want to have pagination, or if I have 300 projects, do I want them all listed out on the same page? Obviously, I still want pagination. I don't know that I necessarily need to have the category filtering, but a lot of the other components are, and I guess I suppose there could be category filtering, but a lot of the components of this API call we'd want to be in place on the admin page. And so what we do, just like we've created other folders for different things, we want to create a folder for API. So in the source folder, I'll right click, add, and I want to create an API folder. And this can hold API calls that are common, that we're going to be using multiple times in this project. So we don't have to recreate them every time. And this will hopefully help save us time. So I've created this API folder, and in there, I'm just going to create a file called projectsapi.ts. So this is going to hold that call, and that way, if I ever make changes to this API call, or if I reuse it or whatever, if I make changes to it, then it will make changes across all of the calls that are using this same call. All right, so what we want to do is add in some code here. So this information about grabbing, let's see. So we're going to get some of the information that comes here. Let's start typing it out in the other one, and then we'll put it all together. Now again, some of this I might be typing, you won't understand it at first, and then we'll talk through it, and that's okay. So first of all, I'm going to create an interface called fetch projects response. So this is a template for fetching a project's response. That's ultimately what we're going to do, is get a list of projects. And so in here, I'm going to have two elements. So I'm basically creating a model, right? And in here, I'm going to have one thing called projects, which is going to be an array of the, where is it? Project type. So each project looks like this, And so I'm going to come in and say I want an array of those. So project refers to that TS model. I want an array of those. And then I also want to keep track of how many projects are there so I can do some math. And so I'm going to have a total num projects, and this is just going to be a number. So I'm defining the template of what a fetch projects response looks like. Of course, it's defined but never used because we're not using it yet. And then what I'm going to do is when somebody calls this fetch projects, so I'll have, I'm trying to decide, let's see. Yeah, so this is the part where we can grab some of this code. So we export a const called fetch projects, which is the same name in the other place. It doesn't need to be the same name. I'm just going to pull that code from here. And so as part of this, in order to be able to fetch these projects, I need some information that currently we're going to send up and give me the page size, give me the page num, or not give me, but I'm giving to the API call the page size and the page num. Well, in order to be able to do that, I need to have that information, right? And then the other thing we have is the selected categories. And so if somebody's going to make a call, I need them to hand me that information so that I can make the call, because I'm no longer, the API method's no longer going to be in this component, right? And so on the API side, I need to have them pass in page size, which is a number, page num, which is also a number, and the selected categories. And what type of information is that? That is a string array, right? And so I have each of those things. And then we use this promise, which we'll talk more about in a minute. And what I'm going to promise is a fetch projects response. So this little template that I created just above here, I'm going to, that's going to be the result of this, is a fetch. I'm going to take the information and put it into a fetch projects response. And so this is all the function declaration. And what am I going to do as part of this function? And so I'm going to put some braces here, and we're going to tell it what we're going to do as part of this function. So what I'm going to do, though, is go grab this information from the project list page, and this functionality to build the const parameters and go make the API call and get our const response. All of this logic here down to catching the data that comes back through JSON, I'm going to grab this, and this is the thing that's going to be part of this method here. So I drop that in. Let's see. All right, yeah, we're going to return a value. So I drop this in, but rather than putting this into a variable, what I'm going to do is return this information that's coming out of the await response JSON. All right, so we'll walk through this more, but I want to add in some other stuff. We learned about the try catch. We want to have the ability in here to say, let's try this stuff. And if it doesn't work, so I'm going to grab all this code. And if it doesn't work, I want to be able to catch it. So I put on a catch, and I grab whatever error is coming back. And then I can put something like console.error, and then say error fetching projects. And so I know where the error is occurring. And then I can print out whatever is in that error. And then throw an error. All right, so now this is protected as we make this call. If we get an error while we're trying to fetch the projects. All right, we'll continue working on this in the next video. Spencer out.